Where are you, Tyrone? What the hell? What the hell? Valorant is a light-hearted graphics game for a shooter, you know. I have played a lot of shooters and mostly watched. And from what I can tell, there are two types of shooters: the cartoony ones or the light-hearted ones with a bit of flair, and the ones who are trying to be hyper-realistic, like COD, Rainbow Six, CS:GO. You know, even if you don't think they look realistic, you can see what I mean if you just play it. However, on Valorant's case, in this cartoony style, surprisingly, in this day and age, they haven't used cel shading. You might say, oh, it looks a little bit like Zelda Breath of the Wild, and yes, I can agree it does, but it only looks like that without cel shading, because that's its style. Also, I think if they added cel shading, the gameplay would be a lot harder, which I'll touch into later. Honestly, one of the other things I have to say is that the GUI, or the game user interface is honestly not really that good. Like, you can say that it's very useful, but for a beginner, someone who's never played a game in his life, let's say an average Joe, he would get confused by all of these. He'd think that he's controlling the military with just the entire GUI, you know? I don't want to be controlling the military, I want to be shooting people, you know? That's why we play Valorant. Well, nonetheless, my honest opinion and my rating, I'd say I'd give Valorant's GUI an 8 out of 10. Could be better for beginners, yet once you get into the game, you know how to use it correctly, and it's fine. Audio is a real big part of the game. You can see it in how you can get info, just from sounds. You can hear people walking by to eat your cookie jar, but at the same time, it's kind of useless apart from info. Like, the rest of the audio is for visuals, effects, which gameplay wise, and maybe it's just to polish the game, but in my opinion, it's not that important, so yeah, no real comment. Valorant is a tac shooter, also known as a tactical shooter. You can't run around while shooting people, and you need to stand still. So you need to think about how you're going to play the game. Another thing, it also relies heavily on team coordination. Of course, it can be like Team Fortress 2, where everyone's doing their own thing and somehow work together. But Valorant, it's kind of a mix between Overwatch and Team Fortress 2 in a sense, you know? It's also very similar to CS:GO, except there's more abilities here. You can also notice the agent play, which is very common in Riot's games, as you can see like League of Legends. Honestly, in my opinion, the gameplay of Valorant is very frustrating, but it's very fun. I know this because I'm an expert. My rank in Valorant is arguably the rarest and best Minecraft ore in Minecraft. I am iron. So you should trust me on this. The lore of Valorant takes place in its advertisements. It's not in the game and it's not important in gameplay at all. However, for you to understand logically what's happening inside the game, then the lore or the story or the themes might be useful for you. The lore is that there is probably two Earths, and those two Earths have the exact same people from one and the other. But one of the Earths is prospering and the other one's in an apocalypse. So, the other Earth tries to blow up the prospering Earth to try to steal their energy. That is the main story of Valorant. You can go into the agents and the themes and very inclusive. Maybe you can even find some metaphors for racism. But in my opinion, that's the basic story. And I think it's a good enough story to explain to beginners especially how the game can possibly work logically. Because if you've never played the game before, you might ask, how is there two of the same person in one game? So yeah, that answers it. Okay, now that concludes my video. If I wanted to take anything away from this video, it is these three things. Number one, Valorant is not for everyone. Despite it being really popular, it's not for everyone. Maybe you want a single player game. Maybe you're not a competitive person. Maybe you want a story that's important to the gameplay, you know? And the second thing I want to take away is that sir should show my video because I spent like 2 days video editing and it's taking very long to render. And the last thing that I wanted to take away, especially the most important of all, is to watch Wednesday on Netflix.